5 years ago, my daughter told me that she was interested in attending an Ivy League school. I promised her then that if she worked hard and made herself into a serious candidate, I would take her on a trip to the East Coast to tour Ivy campuses after her junior year. She kept her end of the bargain, so after the last day of her junior year, we flew into Philadelphia and over 2 weeks rode Amtrak up to Boston, making stops along the way in Princeton, New York, New Haven, and Providence. And in addition to visiting college campuses and exploring towns and cities, we found ourselves stumbling into one good time after another, whether it be block parties or community performances, the electric atmosphere of the NBA Finals and Tonys, or a global invasion of partiers for the 2026 World Cup. Oh, and we also sat in the Late Night with Seth Meyers audience. So if any of this interests you, stick around and enjoy.
Just joining us once again, a very good evening. It's our absolute pleasure to have you aboard American 2758 with service to Philadelphia. We are expecting a completely full flight today. We do expect every seat to be occupied.
And just like that, our trip that was years in the making was underway. So we are walking to lunch from our hotel. First piece of good news is we got to our hotel like around 9 o'clock in the morning, and we weren't supposed to be able to check in until 4, so we thought we would just drop off our bags and then walk around the neighborhood a little bit and then come back later when we could check in. But when we got there, they said, hey, we have a room available, which was awesome. So we got to check into our room at 9 in the morning, even got to take a couple of hours nap because we were tired because we had a red-eye flight, overnight flight to Philadelphia. And so anyway, after that nap, decided to get up and go to the Reading something market. Can't believe I don't remember it. I'll have to put it in the bottom of the screen. But we're walking down there to get something to eat. The challenge, though, is that on the way, we've already passed about 3 or 4 different halal carts, street food carts, that smell so good and have been enticing us to just go there instead. But we will be strong. We'll avoid it for now. We'll go to the market first because I gotta get a cheesesteak. I'm in Philadelphia. I need a cheesesteak. The market had no shortage of food options, with over 30 places to eat. But we had cheesesteaks on our mind. It's got to be with Cheese Whiz, though. It was confirmed they got Cheese Whiz. But Cheese Whiz was not on the menu, so it was back to...
Yeah, you do like the...
YouTube? Well, trying to.
You don't want hot sauce?
No, I'm good.
hot sauce?
Just a little. Yeah, I'm so easily persuaded. Great, thank you, man.
That was so thirsty.
Sitting on a sidewalk bench in Philadelphia on a beautiful day, eating a delicious gyro. This trip was off to a great start. Our next stop was the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. The building itself is fairly modest, but what makes it special is knowing that Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, and other giants of American history once sat in this room and argued over the future of the country. The Liberty Bell is just a short walk from Independence Hall, and definitely worth seeing.
We will tell everyone they will always be free.
We went back to the room and had a brief nap, and now we're going in the evening, and we're not super hungry because we had a pretty big meal lunch today, so instead we're just gonna go get some dessert. For dessert, we chose a place called the Franklin Fountain, an ice cream parlor that's like stepping back into the early 20th century. Leaning towards this. I have no idea what that's going to be like, but I've never had it before, and I'm all about new experiences.
Can I just get one scoop of the honeycomb ice cream in a cup?
One cup of honeycomb, you got it?
And all the liquid air. I tell you, watching this concoction being put together was almost as enjoyable as consuming it. Oh, that's fantastic. Cheers, thank you.
Enjoy!
Thank you. Dessert in our bellies, we made our way back to the hotel. But one more surprise was waiting for us. Well, day one is in the books. It was a lot of fun. So now we're on day two, and we're heading to the University of Pennsylvania to tour their campus. Touring college campuses was the central purpose of our trip, and they did not disappoint. I won't provide an individual breakdown for each one of them. I'll just let the visuals speak for themselves. But I will say that each and every one of them impressed in their own way. I'll leave my daughter's personal rankings after the last campus, but clearly you couldn't go wrong attending any of these schools. After the tour, we stopped at a Yemeni coffee shop. So we finished our campus tour at the University of Pennsylvania, stopped and grabbed some coffee, and now we're heading back to the Old City neighborhood to get some Philly cheesesteak sandwiches with Cheese Whiz. We chose a place called Campo's Deli. I know, you're probably saying, how could you go to Philadelphia and not visit Pat's or Gino's? I get it. But the bottom line is we were short on time and didn't want to stray from our neighborhood. So, about 10 seconds before we arrived at this place, a group of about 30 high school students rocked up and beat us to it. So it didn't take long to get our food, but we ended up having to sit at another place's table. So we're hoping we don't get kicked out. I don't think we will. So it's our second evening in Philadelphia, and we're going out to an Old City Eats food festival, so this should be fun.
Your membership don't work. You can't get the weight up.
People have a lot of nice things to say about Philadelphia, and I know all about the crime statistics. But all I can say is that my daughter and I loved our time there. Everyone we met was super nice. A warm summer evening with a mojito for me and a no-hito for the kid. Yep, they didn't skimp on the alcohol. Oh man, that block party was fun. But we have got a train to catch in the morning, so we're gonna have to call it an early evening. We are now at the Amtrak station, about to go to Princeton for our next stop. So we're now in Princeton, and we're immediately greeted with this. We only had one full day in Princeton, so we set right out to explore the town. An interesting fact we learned about the town of Princeton: they passed an ordinance banning fast food restaurants. So you find a lot of mom and pop places that give it a Gilmore Girls Stars Hollow vibe. Hey, I have a daughter, so yeah, I've watched Gilmore Girls. The lack of fast food restaurants gives opportunities to places like this crepe restaurant that sources from local farms. After lunch, we slowly made our way over to the Princeton campus, taking in the main part of the town along the way. Princeton is pretty impressive. Yeah, in my opinion, if you were to rank the Ivies purely on campus aesthetic, Princeton wins in a landslide. It is in a world of its own. The only reason it doesn't rank higher on my daughter's list is she's more interested in urban campuses. Time for a quick dinner of Chinese noodles, and then off to another really cool event that lined up with our trip. If you didn't know, and I don't blame you if you didn't because I didn't either, Sierra Boggess is a major musical performer who originated the role of Ariel in The Little Mermaid on Broadway. Unfortunately, no filming was allowed, so this is the best I can do. We just finished watching Sierra Boggess at the Princeton Festival. It was incredible, really good. However, she had to stop for about 5 minutes because she swallowed a bug mid-performance. You don't see that every day. Anyway, we were about to go get some ice cream at this place called the Bent Spoon, but the line was, I kid you not, about over 100 feet long outside the door. So now we're going to try out another place called, what's the name of this? Halo Pub. We're going to see what that looks like. We heard that's a pretty good choice too.
Could she be working? I don't know what they're making. To tell people how bad it was, and then I would help the boys to break up.
Thank you. Oh, you got two? It's pretty good, gotta admit. Worth the wait. All right, well that's it for Princeton, and next stop is New York City. When I was a kid, I had no desire to visit New York. I was intimidated by its size and chaos. But after spending significant time in cities like Seoul, Tokyo, and Hanoi, I had a change of heart. I looked forward to seeing the Big Apple. Still, nothing quite prepares you for how in your face it is from the start. It takes some getting used to. We dropped our luggage off at the hotel and then proceeded to check the first box on my daughter's New York bucket list, a New York bagel. And then it was time for a more solemn experience. The next place we wanted to go was Chinatown, though it ended up being a much further walk than we expected.
You have a blast?
We intended to get something to eat, though by the time we got there, we weren't really hungry anymore, so we just had some iced tea. We went back to our hotel in Midtown at around 4 p.m. to check in, to get ready for the evening's fun. But first, item number 2 on our New York food bucket list. So we just had our first slice of New York pizza, and now we're on our way to Broadway to watch the Book of Mormon. Pretty good first night in New York. New York, man. This is freaking great. Oh, there's something going on down there. What if some sort of performance or something? If you've never seen the Book of Mormon, I highly recommend it. That was incredible. It was a really good show. I don't know if it was because it was raining earlier or what, but I found Times Square to be not nearly as intimidating as I expected it to be.
And so many will be in hell with a cross on their neck.
So it's 7:30 in the morning on Sunday, and today I've got another timeshare presentation I have to attend here in New York City. The presentation is about 1.5 miles from our hotel, but it doesn't start till 9 o'clock, so I have an hour and a half. And so I decided I'm going to walk there. I was planning on walking there anyway, but I'm going to kind of take a long route around and maybe show you a few things on the way. So this is right around the corner from our hotel. That's Madison Square Garden, right off in the distance there. That is where Trump is going to be coming for Game 3 of the NBA Finals between the Knicks and the Spurs tomorrow. So expect complete pandemonium down here. We're going to take a left here on 34th Street because when we get around the corner, you'll see why. I think we all know that place, right? We have been so lucky on the weather. We've had great weather this entire trip so far. It did rain, a thunderstorm for about, I guess, an hour and a half, 2 hours, but it happened to be timed exactly at the time we were in the musical, The Book of Mormon. So we were indoors for the entire thing. There's just a few droplets that were coming down at the end, but I could barely feel it. So yeah, we couldn't be luckier. This is fantastic. While the day before was, for better or worse, a full-on assault on the senses, this walk in the relative calm of an early Sunday morning revealed a side of New York that is easy to fall in love with. Yeah, if I were young again, I think I would like to spend a little time living in New York City. It is a pretty cool place. The timeshare presentation over, I made my way back to the hotel and passed through Bryant Park along the way. After a short rest back at the hotel, my daughter and I went back out for our third item on the New York food bucket list. So we just crossed, we're heading east down 36th Street in Midtown, and we just crossed Madison Avenue and Park Avenue, and I think we're about 6 blocks away from the United Nations. So I think we're seeing a lot of different places where diplomats would live. It's quite nice, this area. We're actually going to some place to have a pastrami sandwich. I'm gonna have pastrami. The kid's gonna have something else. But we're going to a place called Sarge's Deli. Watch out for this dude. Excellent, thank you.
No problem.
In addition to the pastrami on rye, I had my first matzo ball of my life. Oh, and then the cheesecake was simply the best that I have ever had in my entire life. After that big meal, we decided to walk it off by continuing past the UN complex. And then we looped our way around back towards Rockefeller Center. On this particular day, the Tony Awards were being held. Unfortunately, we were a little too late for the red carpet, but we did manage to see some of the performers getting off the buses to go inside to perform. Yow! Overall, we spent a glorious Sunday in New York City, but we were just getting started. All right, so it's our third day in New York City. We're heading to Penn Station, aka Madison Square Garden, and we're going to take the subway up to Columbia University. Tonight's the big game too, game 3 of the NBA Finals here at Madison Square Garden. It's already bedlam here. It's crazy. If I had to describe the Columbia campus in one word, I guess I would say it is regal. And as a bonus, on this day, we happened to stumble across a movie being filmed on the campus. One of the unfortunate things about summer campus tours is that there's a lot of construction going on campus, and Columbia was no exception. After Columbia, we returned to Rockefeller Center for one of the highlights of our trip, sitting in the audience for the Late Night with Seth Meyers show. We saw Amy Adams and Dave Matthews. What a night. The rules stated that we couldn't film inside of the studio, but I was able to get some footage inside the waiting area, which is called the Peacock Lounge. And then I was able to capture this footage from the actual show itself. I mean, come on, how perfect was this? I mentioned that the Knicks were playing tonight, right? So today is our fourth and final day in New York City. It's kind of a half day. We have a train at 5 p.m. We left our luggage at the hotel, and we're gonna head out just to have a relaxing souvenir shopping day. When I say we are gonna have a souvenir shopping day, what I really mean is my daughter. What I intended to do was just to capture some more scenes of the city. Finally, it was time to head to the train station, to take off and say goodbye to New York City. But not before one last show. We arrived in New Haven in the evening and it was really too late to do anything, plus we were feeling a little bit tired. However, we were kind of hungry, so the kid ran to a little restaurant across the street that sold some of the best Korean barbecue chicken you'll ever have. So this morning is the morning of our Yale campus tour, and that's where we're headed right now. A quick coffee and pastry run before the official start of our tour. If Princeton has the most aesthetically beautiful campus, I would say Yale's the second. The big difference is that while Princeton is a place unto itself, Yale kinda is New Haven. Yale has been my daughter's dream school since she was in 6th grade, and I'll let you know at the end of this video whether it's remains so or not. This is the Beinecke Library, home to one of the world's largest collections of rare books and manuscripts. There are only 21 complete copies of the Gutenberg Bible in the world, including this one at Beinecke. After the tour, we decided to head to New Haven's famous Pizza for lunch. Hey guys. What's going on here? Is this the normal gathering or? Oh, okay. Well, much like our Philadelphia cheesesteak experience, we timed it just a little bit off. We decided to give Sally's a try instead, since it's probably just as crowded, but at least it's on the way to our hotel. People say that New Haven's pizza is actually better than New York's, and there are 3 mainstays: Pete's, Sally's, and Modern. We went to Pete's, but it was busy, so we headed to Sally's instead. All right, verdict. Sally's a pizza was really good. I would say it was right up there with Fuoco Pizza in Fullerton, California. I think that's probably the 2 best pizzas I've ever eaten. What do you think?
Agreed.
Really good. Chose our pizza. It was clam pizza. I was skeptical, but it was a good choice. It was excellent. So the weather forecast was predicting rain today and tomorrow. And tomorrow now it's predicting clear and sunny. And today, well, you can see for yourself. We have been very, very lucky in terms of good weather. We've had great weather the entire trip. For dinner, we tried the second of the big 3, Modern Pizza. Also excellent. So it's our 3rd day in New Haven. 3rd and last day. We're leaving tomorrow morning for Providence. And the kid wanted to go to one of the local cafes that are popular with Yale students to do a bit of studying for the SAT and for the bar exam for California Boys and Girls State. So that's where she is. I'm just going to get a little bit of walking in and probably stop at the Yale Art Gallery. In my opinion, one of the most impressive things about Yale is how much culture you can find condensed around the campus. Take this art gallery, for example. This isn't just a nice little campus museum. You walk in and you're moving through African sculpture and textiles, ancient American ceramics, Asian scrolls and dioramas, religious carvings, and major European paintings by Monet and Van Gogh, among others. After the museum, I plan to meet up with the kid and go to the 3rd of the big 3 pizza restaurants. But alas, it was the first bad weather we had on the entire trip. I really can't complain. Well, that's it for New Haven. Next stop, Providence. I'll tell you what, I was surprised how nice many of these train stations were. Much like Princeton, we only had 1 day to spend in Providence. So we dropped our luggage off at our Airbnb, took an Uber over to the campus, grabbed a quick bite to eat, and then made the tour. Unfortunately, today was the hottest day of the trip, so we were feeling a little worn out, and so we didn't really give Brown as much of a look as we probably should have. After Brown, we returned to the Airbnb for a little rest before heading downtown for dinner and a couple more of those fortuitous events that I keep talking about. Providence's WaterFire show and the US's first round World Cup game versus Paraguay.
So we just had dinner at this place called Track 15. It's a pretty cool place. It's about 6 or 7 different restaurants that you can order food from. I had a fish sandwich. My daughter had some ramen. And then we shared a sticky toffee pudding. It was pretty good. It wasn't as good as the one we had in London about 3 years ago, but it was pretty solid. Anyway, it's a pretty vibrant place. There's a lot going on tonight. There's this place in and of itself, which is pretty fun. The World Cup is going on. The U.S. is about to start playing in about an hour. Scotland plays tomorrow night versus Haiti in Foxborough. I think it's in Foxborough, but it's not too far from Providence, so we've seen a lot of fans from Scotland here. So it's always a fun atmosphere when you get World Cup fans gathering and hanging out. It feels festive. Also, apparently, there's a little weekly concert going on outside, like a Friday night concert. And then as soon as the sun goes down, Providence has this thing they call WaterFire, where it's pretty much, as explained, there's fire on the water here on the river. And so we're going to go check that out in a little bit.
And children chewing sand, and children on the gunning line are raising both their hands. Children like Pavlov dogs waiting for a bell, salivating at the sound. They trained us well, but they only taught what they could.
I was very impressed with Providence. They seem to have a lot of civic pride and put much effort into creating a neighborly environment. Thanks to the invasion of Scotland's Tartan army for the World Cup, this WaterFire had a Scottish flair. After the show, we made the 5-minute walk from Water Place Basin to Station Park to catch some of the game.
Clearance at that near post from Chris Richards. Might have been the first time all game Christian Pulisic has touched the ball, and it was very brief. Here's Christian Pulisic on the ball now, draws the double team, splits the double team. Pulisic in the box, Weston McKennie.
leg of our trip. We're on our way to Boston. So we have arrived in Boston, and it was an interesting trip. First, our train was delayed by about an hour, so we arrived here about an hour late. It wasn't going to be a big deal though, because I was informed a week ago that I didn't get the FIFA Fan Fest tickets, even though I signed up for them. But then on the train, I got an email saying, "Here are your FIFA Fan Fest tickets." So then we were in a bit of a rush to get here. So the game's already started. It's about 5 minutes in, I think. Morocco and Brazil. I'm heading over there right now. The kid's putting on her makeup. She's going to join me later.
When I arrived at the site of the FIFA Fan Festival, the game was only about 10 minutes in, so I was feeling pretty pleased. But then this happened.
Can't come out.
What's that?
No bag.
No bag inside? So I have to take my bag back to the hotel. It's just a stupid little shoulder bag. But oh well. So, gotta go drop it off and head back, I guess. We went to the Fan Fest in Providence last night. I didn't have a problem with it. I don't know what the deal is with this Boston FIFA Fan Fest, but not gonna let it ruin my mood.
I'll admit, I was a little irritated by that turn of events. But by the time I walked to the hotel and back and saw all of the people, I quickly felt festive again. My daughter arrived and watched the second half of Morocco-Brazil with me, and then returned to the hotel, while I stuck around to watch Scotland and Haiti. There was a lot of time to kill before the next match, so there was a lot of eating and drinking and dancing and singing.
Crack one of those open. Oh, but not that way.
If you can't make friends during the World Cup, you can't make friends.
One more time, huh? Oh, I need this about 2 hours ago.
Fans from both countries, as well as Brazil and Morocco's fans, threw their own little block party. This is why I love the World Cup. We all set aside our differences and celebrate life, fun, and friendly competition for a while. But then the start of the game approached, and Scotland's fans made their presence known.
We'll be coming! We'll be coming! When you hear that voice, don't be talking on me, boys. We'll be coming!
team who have never gone beyond the group stage at a World Cup before. This is World Cup number 9 for Scotland tonight.
Well, what can I say? That was a blast. However, I had to leave at halftime because we have a big day tomorrow, starting in the morning, where we are going to see the Tea Party Museum, the Boston Tea Party Museum, and a few other things, including the Freedom Trail. So, had to call it a night halfway through the game, unfortunately, but what a good time. See you tomorrow. Good morning. Feeling mildly hungover after a lot of fun at the FIFA Fan Festival. Today we're going to learn a little bit about the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, there we go. Something's missing.
It's scheduled for the 10 o'clock town meeting. All upon together in the ice meeting, as we shall discuss the fate of this British weed. Huzzah!
Yes, let's get you out of this freezing cold December weather.
Say, where you traveling from? Never heard of the place. Welcome in. I thought you were calling the evening from your hat.
We came from there.
About 80% of us here in Boston love tea. That's why they sent us so much. So do I have two brave volunteers who want to play? You, sir, and you. All right. It's a very important decision. Wealthy merchant, clever engineer.
Clever engineer.
Very good, sir, Mr. James Brewer. You make block and tackle a rope and pulley systems, a very important job in a port town like this. So during the meeting, Mr. Adams will call upon your name and ask you how you paid for the windows.
Okay.
And at their strength, I did not is your answer. You can say it to you're sitting or standing, however you like. Just loud, proud, and frustrated.
Okay.
You're not before your cue. We'll make sure you're ready for it.
All right.
Excellent.
It was unfortunate that we were not allowed to film once the show started.
Excellent. Are you ready for revenge?
Revenge!
Yeah.
Because I knocked my performance out of the park.
Welcome aboard, patriots. Actions we take here shall have great ramifications, and all of your bravery is very much needed. If you are here to destroy the tea, say aye!
Hey!
If you are here to cast off the yoke of tyranny, say aye!
Hey!
If you are here to be captured and arrested for treason, say aye! Aye! 3, 2, 1.
Huzzah!
Last call to commit treason!
Treason!
Yeah!
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Okay. Well, that was a lot of fun. But we're hungry, so we're gonna go get something to eat.
I like the vibe.
Yeah. One of the last of my food bucket list items was a lobster roll.
Now watch out for low-hanging branches. They have delicious bugs on them.
I want it to be Paula Revere. Yeah. Not Miss Beantown. Yeah. That was my second choice. Oh, so I learned the Chicago accent instead.
Our last touristy thing to do on the trip was to explore the Freedom Trail. Our original intention was to ride the trolley around to the different stops and then get off and visit the different sites. But we were just feeling so tired, and it was again very hot, so we ended up just staying on the trolley for the entire tour. Our very last food bucket list item was clam chowder.
They're pumping. One wave. Hammer time. What a cartwheel. Oh! He wasn't supposed to be that good.
All right, so this is the last full day of our East Coast campus tour trip. We were visiting 2 campuses today. First one in the morning is Tufts University, and then this afternoon we're going to be visiting Harvard. But right now we're at Tufts.
The one non-Ivy campus we visited on our trip was Tufts University, a short drive from both downtown Boston and Cambridge. It is Ivy adjacent and has a highly respected international relations program, which is why we wanted to check it out. I must say, I was pretty impressed with the campus. It was on par with most of the others that we saw.
What? Where am I?
We grabbed an Uber to Cambridge, stopped and got some Thai food, and then some Italian gelato. I've got to tell you, if you're ever in Cambridge, stop by Amarino. The gelato is amazing. And finally, we walked over to the Harvard campus for our final tour of the trip. One thing I didn't capture for this video is the presentations at each of the schools, for the schools that actually had presentations. But I will say this, Harvard's was the most professional. It was very, very impressive. And the tour itself moved Harvard up my daughter's list a little bit.
Well, that's it for our East Coast campus tour trip. That was 5 years in the making. We're headed back to Los Angeles now. So hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please check that like button and make sure to subscribe so you can get more of my videos when I'm traveling abroad. Bye.
Whew, that's it. The trip we'd waited so long for was now behind us. And we are moving into a new phase, college application season. After that, my daughter's senior year, then college decisions, then graduation, and then she's off to college.